You're watching How Sparks Mega Worldwide. Thanks. I appreciate it. It's wonderful of you. Welcome. Cash App and Venmo and Super Chats and bits. And if you're on Facebook, stars. You can send stars. I'm just saying. Or you could share the show. Share it out. Let people know. Where sharing is indeed caring. I've heard that. I read that someplace. And then, of course, you can become a Patreon subscriber. Patreon.com/HowSparks, either monthly or by the year. Or if you're concerned that my quality is going to fall off over a short time, just do it month to month. If you appreciate the consistency, even when it's bad, think about doing a year-rounder. Okay, here we go. Now, and thank you, Diana, and thank you, Bonnie, for the super chats, and thank you, Therese, for earlier this morning. I missed that one at the tail end of the show, and Julie, bless you. All right, here we go. So, usually when we see this next person, they are only being allowed on television so that Sean Hannity can take a poop break. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Producer and friends, we get a unique video, 28 seconds, a short video presented by Mark Levin, where he's getting his ideas together, and he's doing what the kids are doing with his vertical filming. This might as well be Mr. Producer. Hold on, I should probably put him in, let's go. Control plus. Nope, that didn't work. Yeah, I won't be able to squeeze that up. No, forget it. Anyways, so this is 28 seconds, which is more than most of us can stand, of Mark Levin telling us the what's up. There you go.
This is a war on the Republican Party. It's a war on opposition.
The general concept of opposition, but they're doing it by opposing someone. So how can you stop punching yourself in the face? Is that where we're going?
Why do you think they were working with social media platforms to silence?
Because everybody works with social media platforms. Also, you sound sick, Mark. You don't sound well. Did you catch whatever gargly throat shit Trump had at Mar-a-Lago the other night? It's not good.
It's Republicans and conservatives, or basically anybody.
Yeah, he's all stuffed up. There's a bunch of stuff going on in there.
Who objects to what the Biden administration's doing, their bureaucracy's doing, and interferes.
And by the way, he's got this little corner Levin thing down here. I appreciate him putting an affectation so it's not just a plain video frame. But it looks like Levin in cursive with a rose next to it. And honest to God, it looks like a chocolate ad.
In the election, covering up things like Hunter Biden's laptop.
Oh, yeah, there's a sniff right there. There is no Hunter Biden laptop.
This is all part and parcel of the same thing.
What?
But now they've crossed the Rubicon.
Okay, that's it. That's all we're getting. But now they've crossed the Rubicon. It's all about the Rubicon, ladies and gentlemen. We've been Rubiconed. Perhaps we need a longer form version. Perhaps Mark has more to say on this. Perhaps with the sniffles. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Martyr for Liberty. Trump is still alive, by the way. He's also not in hell, I suppose. The lighting is very strange behind him. Hi, going into hell right now. It's actually hell behind me. And Mark Levin knows what. Look at the picture of this. Yeah, Mark, give us your I knew it all along, Mr. Producer. Fuck you face. Try to gangster it up a little bit. You look like an assistant manager who hasn't gotten laid in 9 years, walking in on two of his employees fucking. I knew it.
First of all, one of the things on top of everything else is,
well, I'm glad you're starting at the top of the pile.
There has to be an underlying crime, right, Sean? People are...
Yes, there must be an underlying crime. Luckily, because it's Donald Trump, we have plenty.
Saying, well, what is it?
And Hannity's not going to answer you. He's pooping right now.
I'm saying, well, what underlying crime did Donald Trump commit?
Well, he defrauded voters. You know how they're saying if they'd only known about the Hunter Biden laptop, 17% of people wouldn't have voted for him. Yeah, well, that's A, that's bullshit. But B, that's exactly the accusation here. which is one of the reasons why they make that accusation also, because it's always projection with these fuckers.
He didn't commit any underlying crime, and he wasn't charged with any underlying crime. He wasn't charged with federal election violations, even though that's not the jurisdiction of the DA.
Well, that's why they'll ultimately charge him for violating state election laws. You know all that complaint about they changed the rules without making the legislature change all the blah. You remember all that shit? Okay, this is 2016 during that election cycle, and your complaints are now coming home to roost.
There's nothing here, but I want to get into something here.
Yes, yeah, you want to get into a bowl of M&Ms. That's what I think. And go, there's a Reese's piece in there somewhere. Isn't there, Mark? Tell us.
Donald Trump is a historic figure, or they
yes, like Benedict Arnold, I guess Ellis from Die Hard. Yeah, he's right up there.
wouldn't be doing this.
Or they wouldn't be doing this. Well, he's just, yeah, but it's why he's historic. He committed historic crimes. He also historically got his followers to attack the fucking Capitol. He's only historic for being an asshole.
They wouldn't be doing this. There wouldn't have been a January 6th committee. There wouldn't
have been a January 6th, motherfucker. Of course there wouldn't be a committee. If Jimmy Carter had been elected, they never would have called. Yeah, because Jimmy Carter wouldn't sick his followers on the fucking Capitol and ask for them to hang his vice president.
been a Mueller criminal investigation. There wouldn't have been 2 phony impeachments. Listen to this, America.
Well, there weren't 2 phony impeachments, actually. There were 2 real ones.
There wouldn't have been a warrant, which is inexcusable, an unconstitutional warrant in my view. And
yeah, but your view doesn't matter, does it?
FBI SWAT team sent to
Yeah, he wasn't swatted. Calm the fuck down.
his home. There had been, in the course of the last few months, 5 grand juries controlled by Democrats. Over what?
You need me to fill you in? Okay, the first one is about campaign finance violations and lying on public records. That's the New York one. The second one is about Georgia, of course, where he called and tried to manipulate the governor through the power of the presidency to find him votes to help him win the election, just so he could bullshit through his way through, claim the state, and then use the kind of momentum of taking Georgia to kind of and sort of strong arm Fox into pushing back on Arizona, and that was going to be their strategy for him taking the election back and saying, "Oh, we actually took those states," and then our people would sick Pennsylvania, and then we'd send our fake electors up there, and it was all part of a greater scheme. This is, it's interesting. Georgia is, let's say you have a group of bank robbers, and there's a RICO case against the bank robbers. And one of they did several things. They committed identity theft to buy plane tickets to get out of the fucking country. They robbed the bank. They took a guard hostage. They do all these different things. But over the river let's say we're in New York, over the river in New Jersey, they stole a car to use as the getaway car. So in the scheme of the entire robbery and their plan to get in and out, and every, the dozens of crimes that they committed, like the big crimes they committed and all the myriad between them, the one crime they committed in New Jersey was the car theft. And this is the equivalent when they keep bringing this up the way that, they're like, I don't even know what he's just said something. Okay, he was in the process of a multi-state crime spree trying to steal the election for himself, and Georgia, because they had a Republican governor and a Republican Secretary of State, he thought, oh shit, that I'm supposed to win that state, and I can get it back if I can twist these guys' arms and get the state called in my favor temporarily. Then we'll find the votes later to make it look like I won big time when I've already taken it's too late. It'll be a bigger scale than Bush v. Gore, but it'll be the same fucking thing. By the time they found out I actually lost, it'll be too late. And that's what he was shooting for. And Georgia was, in the bigger scheme of things, Georgia was the stolen getaway car.
You would have thought this man took money from the communist Chinese.
He did. $15 million while he was in office.
You would have thought his son took money from the communist Chinese.
Excuse me, won't you? Let's see. Mhm.
With Donald
Boop doop doop doo. Da 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 do. Da da
Trump
da.
running for president, the responsibility of running his multi-billion-dollar real estate business has been assumed by his 3 adult children, Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric, top executives in the Trump empire.
And douchebags.
I talked with Don Jr. and Eric at their Manhattan headquarters about working for the Trump brand in real estate and on the campaign trail.
Okay, hold on 1 second. All right, there we go. This is linked to this other thing. Give me 1 second. Eric, come on, you. Yeah, here it is.
I've been to China many times.
Really?
I have, so
What was the impression?
I love China.
Really?
I love China. I spent quite a bit of time over there last year.
For what?
Really loved it. Looking at different projects, it's a market that I think we'll be in very soon. We
Do you
have
have any plans for China?
we have a lot of plans for China. So we've got an amazing buyer base that's from China originally, that has apartments in our buildings, that use our hotels, that are members of our golf clubs.
Oh, wait. Not that golf club where you stored classified evidence. Surely you don't mean that place.
There's a very, very loyal following base to the Trump name, and so it's just a very logical place for us to be soon.
Oh, yes. It's just a very logical place for us to be soon. The video of Hunter Biden saying said things, I've still not been unable to find. I'm sure Mark has it on his hard drive.
You would have thought he's the criminal of this thing. What exactly did he do?
Well, he's done a shit ton of things. This is probably the least of it, and it's still bad. And if he hadn't just been an asshole about it, he probably could have paid a fine years ago.
So they had to concoct all these phony crimes because he didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything. I mean, it's not a crime to fuck around with your wife. It is to hide it and use campaign funds to do it and lie on records and try to get a tax break on money used to pay, paying off a porn star as a business expense. What's that? Depreciation? How do you fucking write that off?
So the Manhattan DA should be disbarred. Not only because of the way he campaigned, because you know what? This is crap that a pre-law student shouldn't even put in front of a damn judge. That's number one.
Okay, it sounds like number two, Mark, but keep at it. And by the way, I don't want you to think for a second that I'm enjoying seeing you mad. It's not. I'm not smiling because you're this miffed. I'm smiling because of why you're this miffed. Does that help?
Number two, Letitia James.
Huh?
In Albany, looking for crimes and then goes after civil suits. She's another one who should be disbarred for the way that she campaigned. The legal profession is an embarrassment right now.
The whole profession. If you're in family law in Oklahoma, fuck you. The legal profession.
Judges are a humiliation right now.
Yeah, especially the ones that Trump appointed. The best people. My ass.
Now, they need to get their ass in gear and get their act together and get this country back.
Ass in gear, get their act together. Can you do both of those? I mean, they're both in the A category.
Instead of giving a rubber stamp to all this behavior. That's number one.
Well, some of them are Trump appointed, and they have seen the evidence.
We have a Democrat attorney general in New York, a Democrat DA in Manhattan.
And they all ran on getting Trump, and the voters said, fuck that guy. I understand. And believe me, when Texas attorney generals went after Biden's win or tried to stop Georgia from counting their electoral votes or whatever, I'm sure you were like, hey, mind your own fucking business.
Democrat DA in Atlanta, a Democrat appointed by the Democrat Attorney General for the Biden administration in Washington, D.C. What's
Well, yeah, but the FBI's headed by the guy who he put in place.
going on here?
I know what's going on here. He's a criminal asshole who's dodged any consequences for decades, and people are fucking sick of it, dum-dum. That's it. That's all that's going on. Why is he yelling? Because he's Mark Levin. Because he's Mark Levin! And he's trying to talk to Sean Hannity, who is on the toilet right now.
Party wants to change the Supreme Court. They want to change the Senate. They want
no.
to eliminate the filibuster.
Well, we do want to change the Senate. I mean, we definitely want more Democratic senators. I think that's a reasonable strategy for any party, wouldn't you think? The whole they want to change the Senate part means that we keep bringing up that they have states with 400,000 people in them that have 2 senators, and that's a little weird.
Filibuster rule, eliminate the Electoral College. They're attacking the First Amendment. They want to eliminate the Second Amendment. They're violating the Fourth and the Fifth Amendment. You know what this is?
This is communist, comedy.
This is tyranny.
Okay, I was close. It was communism or tyrannism.
Now, Donald Trump is a historic figure. You think if he was Mitt Romney, they'd give a damn?
Well, he wouldn't have committed the crimes. Again, Trump is only a historic figure because he's this awful.
No. No. You think if he, frankly, was a Bush that they'd give a damn?
Well, I mean, some of us think that George W. Bush should have gone to jail over the beginning of the Iraq War. But unfortunately, many of us know that ship has sailed. And part of the lesson of of George Bush and then Donald Trump is don't let him get away this time. People need to start recognizing that they can't fuck around on this level and not find out.
No.
Oh, well, why?
Look at Trump today. He gives his speech at Mar-a-Lago.
He did at Mar-a-Lago. It's Lago. I mean, not that anybody cares.
This is a man who's committed to fighting these abuses.
Well, he's got to. Otherwise, he'll just go to jail. What do you think? He's going to plead guilty? He doesn't have the character to do that, dum-dum.
Who's committed to fighting these Marxists? Who's committed?
Which Marxists? The ones that sent him $15 million in a Chinese bank account in the middle of his presidency and he took the money out? That guy? Or
to fighting the tyranny.
Well, I mean, he kind of wants the tyranny, doesn't he? I mean, have you heard him talk about killing drug dealers? At a certain point, he's like, the dude salivates out of after how the Philippines are run.
Talks about securing the border. They don't want to secure the border.
Well, I mean, obviously the wall sucks. We've got some ideas. There is an immigration. Never mind.
He talks about sound money. They don't want sound money.
Sound money. The motherfucker wanted negative interest rates.
He talks about building up the military. They want a woke military.
They want a woke military with a lot more money.
He backs the cops. They hate the cops.
Well, we don't cheer on, nobody in the Women's March stormed up the steps of the Capitol and kicked the shit out of cops while other people cheered them on, wearing pink pussy hats. You know what I mean?
And I could go on and on and on.
We know that. That's why you're there, Mark. You're there to fill time so that Sean can have a vape and a poop.
Look what he did to our economy. Look what he did with energy.
Yes, he put us into a recession in February of 2020. And the only reason he wasn't voted out for that particular reason was because he fucked up COVID so badly that everybody was like, we're done.
Energy independence. He was supposed to be Barack Obama's third term with Hillary Clinton, and he stopped them. And this is...
I would say he paused them, and more progressives. You have progressives to thank for that.
Payback, and they're not going to give up. We, the American people, need to stand behind this guy.
Very far behind him. Very far. I'm thinking How do you feel about Cleveland?
There's not another Republican that I can think of who can fight back and fight back this way.
You're right. They're all assholes. I mean, as weak as he is, they're all weaker. Yeah. Must be rough. Your whole party. All of them. And this fat, flatulent git is your best shot. Now I know why you're yelling.
I can't think. I like others.
Well, I'm sure they like you too, Mark. What'd you have in mind?
I really do. I think some of them would be great presidents. But at this time, at this moment,
there is not a presidential election. So, yeah, I guess fucked. We're fucked, right? We're fucked. Is that it? We're just fucked?
With these American Marxist movements taking over, with Soros funding these prosecutors, crime up the wazoo.
Excuse me. First of all, up the wazoo is not a crime. It's the intent, I think, for one. Secondly, I was amazed. I think you were too. Everybody was watching that Trump was even able to get from Trump Tower to the courthouse without being mugged. It was like, have you seen the Warriors? Ugh, New York is terrible.
He's the guy, and they know it.
And they know it. What else did I write down here? Something. Oh, yell. It says on the paper, yell.
And let me tell you something else.
Add one other thing.
What Mr. Brown.
Oh, he's back. Sean's back. Add one other thing. 2-ply toilet paper or fuck you. I don't know who's buying this 1-ply at Fox News for the.
China is.
He's brought an unconstant. Yeah.
Look at what China's doing. Look at as they try to fill the void left open by America not leading the free world. Look at what's happening right before.
What do you mean leading the free world? What do you mean? We should have stayed in Afghanistan? Is that what you're talking about?
Look how dangerous that is. And the alliances that they're creating.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be great. So I'd like to remind everybody how much shit we've had to deal with as a country because we relied on energy from the Middle East, and we were involved in the Middle East for so long, trying to make deals and build businesses and schools, and as peacekeepers, and then at war, and then as back and forth, like all this awful shit that happened because we needed oil, and we had to play nice with these fuckers, and these fuckers were getting shit tons of money because they were producing oil the world over. And so if they weren't going to give it to us, they were going to give it to somebody else. And so we're like, fuck, we have to deal with these maniacs. And then now we're out. And we're heading into an era where most, if not all, energy will be largely renewable, especially on a consumer level. And we won't fucking need these people anymore. China does. And now China gets to deal with Afghanistan and Saudi Arabia and Yemen and Qatar and all that shit. And anybody who thinks that they're going to have an easier go of it and is an idiot. But also, even any element of smoothness that even appears there is because they join in with the authoritarian government to fuck the people there. So even you're like, look, they didn't have a war. They don't have to have a war. They agree with the leadership that the people need to be put down.
And let me say something else while
well, please do.
I have a minute or so.
I'm going to guess that it's the same thing, though. What do you think? You think he's going to say something else, or you think Mark Levin's going to say the same shit he always says? Something about American Marxists.
This DA in Fulton County, Atlanta,
as opposed to
is another hack. The idea that a president...
Ouch! Hack. I mean, it's one thing to challenge her legal opinions, but to accuse her of old jokes.
It picks up the phone and says something to the effect, find me some more votes. And you're going to say that that's a crime?
Uh-huh.
Every precinct worker, every ward leader, I have no doubt that she's picked up the phone and said the same thing during her elections. That's not a crime.
No, she did not, dum-dum. No. And the president has an immense amount of power that he can wield. Somebody running for a local office going, find me those votes. They go, fuck you, you're not even in office.
And this jerk in Washington, D.C., who they dragged back from The Hague, who has a horrendous record of overcharging. At The Hague. Leave it to Mark Levin to find a way to wrap this shit up
in being sympathetic to people who are on trial at The Hague. Fucking hell, man. It's a good indication of what a piece of shit Donald Trump is and how hard it is to defend him, that you've got to like align him with the person who's going after him mistreats war criminals all the time. Right. CSL, holy shit.
He's bringing in service people and Secret Service and all the rest of where documents matter. Documents matter.
Documents matter. Yeah. Excuse me. Classified documents he had no right to have that he took secretly, snuck out of the fucking White House and brought to Mar-a-Lago. And may I remind you again of this interview with Eric Trump, son of Ivanka Trump and Gary Busey, or perhaps Giuliani, we don't know, getting interviewed in China, or by a Chinese state television person. I think this was in New York.
Plans for China?
We have a lot of plans for China. So we've got an amazing buyer base that's from China originally, that has apartments in our buildings, that use our hotels, that are members of our golf clubs.
Hey,
very, very loyal
members of our golf clubs. It's just a records issue, Mark. It's all it is. It's just a fucking records. Oh, sorry. What is Marla? Wait, it's not Ivanka? Yeah. Isn't she the? All right, never mind.
Mar-a-Lago. Hey,
Mar-a-Lago, asshat. Like, god damn it. Like, I can call it Mar-a-Lago because I'm kidding. He's a friend of yours. Get it right, dum-dum.
Hey, we got documents. We went in and searched, found more documents. Really? So how the hell is that obstruction? The documents are still there. No.
How's that obstruction? Because they got security footage of his people sneaking. Now I'm yelling like him. This is what happens. This is what Mark Levin does to people. I don't even know why I don't. It's, you hang out with assholes, you start picking up their traits. It's just part of the goddamn it. So, yeah, he lied about having them and then moved them, and then they said keep them here and we're gonna come pick them up. And then he said, sure, and they said, put another lock on the door and don't let anybody in. And then they found footage of people bringing shit out of there, including his valet, while Trump went through the stuff and started removing classified documents that used to be in folders that were in those things, and now just the folders are there. And what's in the fucking coffin? I'm just going to yell. It's just what happened.
Nobody destroyed them. Nobody sold them to the enemy.
Hey, asshole, you don't know that because there's a bunch of empty folders, too. Nobody sold them to the enemy. Who told you that? This asshole?
Why are you acting like this is the crime of the century?
Because it might actually be, dumb fuck. This is fucking huge. They have footage of people going into the room after it was locked, after the subpoena, when they said there is no more classified documents and they weren't giving anything else, and they cut off communications, taking boxes out of the locked room, which they told them would remain locked, bringing them to Trump's office where he sifted through them, removed things, and now there are empty folders and God knows what the fuck happened to that shit.
For God's sakes. And then January 6th?
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's one of the big reasons why he's a historic figure. I got news for you, though. The classified document shit is going to make him more historic. Yeah, by the time we're done, Trump is going to have quite the asterisk.
They're trying to dust off old Civil War statutes and Confederate statutes.
A maggot carried a Confederate flag in the Capitol. That didn't even happen during the Civil War, you fucking asshole.
To apply against a former president of the United States, the Democrat Party is trying to destroy the Republican Party.
Well, I would argue we are staying out of the way while you guys do it. They're trying to destroy the Republican Party by not stopping us from destroying it. It's a plan. I don't know.
They're going to succeed if this works. The Democrat Party's trying to.
They're going to succeed if this works. It's probably going to work.
Choose the Republican nominee. The Democrat Party has been hijacked by Marxist radicals.
And those Marxist radicals are going to pick the Republican nominee. So I assume that's going to be DeSantis. So anybody that gets picked that isn't Trump, according to Mark Levin, and this is awesome. According to Mark Levin, Republicans know this about the primary and the general. If anybody gets it except this guy, for any reason, they're a Marxist. They're a commie, and it's Red Scare time. Yeah, just don't vote for them because the Democrats put them in, and they're a Manchurian candidate.
That's what this guy is in Manhattan. That's what they are in Atlanta. That's what all these fools are. And that's what's going on in this country right now. Victor Davis Hanson is correct. We are in a revolution. And this guy, Donald Trump, is standing up to it.
No, he's really not. Because if he was, he would have gone into court and said, not guilty, and I want an immediate trial. The first available moment on this docket, we are taking this to court. I will fight this all the way. I am innocent, and I will prove it. I'm fucking with you. He's going to punt it because he knows he's guilty, and he thinks he can put it off until after the next election, and if he gets elected, he can get rid of it.
Very few can, and they are trying to destroy him. And you know what they're going to do?
Let him destroy himself. No, that's not it. Laugh. That, okay, yes, yeah, that.
They're going to make a martyr out of him.
No, none of us intend to kill him. As a matter of fact, I think most of the folks that I know love the idea of him living a long, healthy life in prison, but still, or even short time in prison and then back to Mar-a-Lago where he really can't travel much because he's got other outlying warrants and a bunch of bills he can't pay, and he manages through a lot of just daily fucking court fights to keep Mar-a-Lago, but they have to like jack up the prices to be a guest there or be a member there so much that everybody's like, fuck that. So it dwindles down, and it starts to look like the place at the end of the Copacabana in the Barry Manilow song.
Because
she lost her Tony and she lost her mind. Yeah.
Because there's nobody else that could stand up to this and withstand this day in and day out the way he does.
Yeah, he's not, asshole. It's terrible. Let him fucking go and assume that somebody on the Republican side with with convictions that are genuine could actually run the fucking party. You idiot. Like, why the fuck do I end up having to defend this dickhead from that dickhead? Because they're the ones who are going to get him killed. Do you know how shitty he looked? He's an old man, and I have no sympathy for this fucker. He made this bed, and he's going to soil it. But the idea that somehow the entire, Republican Party rests on his fucking shoulders is absurd.
They're going to make a martyr out of him for liberty.
Yeah, and by the way, he wrote that on a piece of paper and wanted to say he's a martyr for liberty. Jesus Christ. No, they're not. We're not going to fucking kill him. He's not going to be Nelson Mandela. He's not going to sit in jail for 28 years and emerge 10 minutes and emerge as as the new unifying character on the national scene. It's not going to fucking happen. You guys are going to keep pushing for him to be the Republican nominee, and that's the only way out of his legal problems in his head. And so between those two pressures, you're going to give this old fuck a heart attack.
And I'm done. That's it.
Yes, if only. Jesus Christ. Mark Levin makes me yell. It's idiot.